Welcome to another bag of anime video, this series where I look through a bag of anime and see if there's finally something good in the bag. This time, it's the entire series of the comedy, action, buddy cop anime, You're Under Arrest. Originally an OVA in 1994, it has 3 seasons, 1 movie, and quite a few specials. It's about 2 traffic patrol cops and 1 motorbike cop set in the fictional Bokuto station in Tokyo, chasing after bad guys breaking traffic rules. It was based on the manga made by Kōsuke Fujishima, the same mangaka that made Oh My Goddess. This OVA was released in 1994 until 1995. At first I thought this was a cliche buddy cop thing, but got pleasantly surprised that it isn't really like that at all. Sure, it is a buddy cop anime, but it also has really good secondary characters, character development, and of course action scenes for people obsessed with cars and motorbikes. The duo has their own style, driving like crazy in a nitro upgraded patrol car, braking the car using their feet, chasing with a moto compo, and instead of wheel guns they use paintball and airsoft guns. Yeah, even when the crooks have wheel guns and are actively shooting at them. I think only once or twice throughout the entire series they actually fired a gun and hit someone with it. The special set in America is more enthusiastic about guns though. They really have their own unorthodox style, with Natsumi's harsh attitude, extreme strengths, large appetite and love for motorbikes together with Miyuki's politeness and being an extremely good mechanic with top-notch driving skills, makes this duo inseparable, effective and extremely amusing at the same time. Also, they like playing with the neighborhood kids and animals when they are not chasing down traffic violating assholes. But there are also some secondary characters like Yoriko that spreads a bunch of bullshit rumors around the station, and the police chief, the strict but fair chief that Natsumi likes. And as a love interest for Miyuki, you have Ken Nakajima or Kenny. He's a cool motorcycle cop with a unique driving style. His driving is so good that they call him the White Hawk. Though if you only looked at the promotional art, you would think this is shoujo AI, and also basing it on the art style, especially how the duo's hair and eyes look. And while these two are quite close, I don't think they are close in that way. Also, this anime is a bit weird when it comes to how popular it is, because it was quite popular in Japan and in the countries that used to have the AXN TV channel, but in more modern times it isn't really talked about as much. I guess it got overshadowed by other older anime, which is a shame, because I'm sure a lot of people will enjoy this anime. Though in the US it used to be popular too, because a dub came out. A pretty good one too. Apparently it was done by Coastal Studios based in North Carolina. According to one of the directors of the original OVA, said that the English dub was better than the original Japanese version. Before recording the voices for the television series, the director made all the voice actors watch the English dub of the OVA first. And I can see why, the voices are quite good, especially Natsumi's voice is really fitting in the English dub. And oh yeah, she makes a reference to Duke Nukem.
Sumi, would you please get yourself together? I was up late playing Duke Nukem Forever!
I really like this reference. I checked the sub version and there she references something I don't know. I tried searching for it but not much came up, so I'm glad with this localization. Though it is odd because Duke Nukem Forever came out years after the dub came out. Though remember, this game was in development hell and was already announced since the 90s. Also, she could just mean she was playing it forever. And later in the series, I didn't even know what Takaiwan's name was, a character introduced in season 1. In my notes I just called him Mountain Climber Guy, because they often butcher his name. It took me a while to actually know what his name was. Also, the preschool children sound a bit weird in the OVA.
Hey Yuki, do you know where there's an animal hospital?
But other than that, the dub is really good. The OVA, first TV season, the specials of that TV season, and the movie are all dubbed in English with the same voice actors. I would recommend watching the dub if you can, because I do think the voices work and it might be easier to watch for the comedic moments. unless if you want to prioritize on only watching subs. That can work too. The voice acting is good enough in the Japanese version too. The first episode is about Natsumi Tsujimoto, a motorcycle fanatic on her way to her first day working at the police force. And she's late. She has superhuman strengths, has a short fuse, and is a good motorcycle driver. She's trying to arrive on time with her trusty Honda Moto Compo. And then we meet Miyuki. She becomes the partner of Natsumi, and even caught her speeding when she was late for her first day. She is the more soft-spoken, polite person, really into mechanics and electronics, and she's an excellent driver that can tune up pretty much anything. These two form the ultimate buddy cop team, but one strength this anime has is that there are loads of secondary characters that get a decent amount of screen time. They all work at the Bokuto Precinct, a fictional station in Tokyo, which seems to mostly have women in their force. And one noticeable thing in this OVA are the visuals. The OP is pretty good both in audio and visuals. They have to chase a red car that's speeding around the city, and they have to catch the car, and the driver treats it like some sort of game. And with the help of their Honda today, with a modified nitro injector, they try to chase the red car down, and along the way, Miyuki and Natsumi get more along with each other. We also learn about Nakajima, a motor cop that has the hots for Miyuki, and also Yoriko, the Megane girl that spreads gossip around the station. And at the end of the episode, they decide to live together. And this is the start of an over 18-hour long adventure. Considering this is an OVA in 1994, the animation looks really good and detailed. Especially the details on all the vehicles and reflections of lights are particularly great. It really gives the OVA a special atmosphere with the amount of light effects, especially in the Typhoon episode. Though sadly, after the OVA, the animation does get a bit of a downgrade. They even reanimate some scenes from the OVA later on in the series. And as you can see, the OVA has the most detail. In the second episode, we really see some awesome visuals. The episode starts off with seeing the duo interacting with the local preschoolers, and they want to go to an animal hospital because their cat is feeling sick. And then Nakajima appears, and the kids really like him. They think he is cool and call him Kenny.
Hey, it's Kenny!
But then, some dickhead speeds right through the preschool and Natsumi pushes back the children. They take their cat and later prepare for a typhoon that's about to hit. And this is where the awesome visuals come in. Once the typhoon hits and the chase scene happens, so many awesome light visuals happen and everything just feels cinematic and epic. And the third episode explores more about the relationships between the people at this police station. And the fourth episode concludes the OVA quite nicely. In the third episode, we see the people at the police station nosing in on the relationship between Miyuki and Nakajima. Natsumi even tries to help Nakajima. The final episode of the OVA is about Natsumi leaving the station to become a motorcycle guard, and throughout the episode we get to see how deep the relationship between Natsumi and everyone at the station is. Also, it concludes quite nicely with showing quite a few of the characters we have seen throughout the OVA series and seeing them again, and even kind of cheering them on when they try to save the day. Quite cool. Overall, the OVA was really good. A lot of interesting characters, good action scenes, car chases, opening, story, animation, and there's loads of details in lights and motor vehicles. And to be honest, initially I thought it was going to be some 90s action anime schluck, but ended up favoriting it because I enjoyed it so much. The art style, music, characters, the dub is good, and a true love for motorbikes and cars. After this anime, I got super fascinated by the motor compo and Japanese post-war stuff. Also, I've noticed some services like High Dive list the 4 OVA episodes as the first 4 episodes of the first season. So on High Dive, the first season of You're in the West has 51 episodes, while it actually only has 47 plus the 4 episode OVA. But now the fun only started. Over the course of the first television series, your love for this series will grow. In Season 1, it directly continues from the OVA. We see all the characters we met in the OVA, though as you can see the animation went down, probably because OVAs tend to have a higher budget and have more time to make it. The openings and endings of this season are pretty good. I especially like the second opening and ending. We also get introduced to quite a few characters. For one, we get to meet Aoi, a transsexual cop that used to be an undercover cop for catching perverts. Also Kenny's dad and his motorcycle friends, and of course Strike Man, a vigilante that only attacks people doing minor shit like littering or something and throws baseballs at them. He likes calling Natsumi Home Run Girl, which she hates. We also meet Takairon, a rescue worker and mountain climber that is also extremely strong, like Natsumi, and is Natsumi's competitor both in strength and in eating. Then we have Saori, a high school student that is really interested in Natsumi and Miyuki and wants to be a cop like them. Another character that shows up is Detective Tokano, a middle-aged detective that Natsumi also has the hots for. This season also has loads of character development, which are some of the greatest episodes of the season. Like when the police chief is stuck on Tokyo Tower during a windy day, or the episode about an old mechanic. Don't worry, I'm not gonna spoil anything. Yet. That will be for later in this video. But this season really gets better the longer you watch it, because the more character development that happens over time. This season blends the more serious character development episodes with the adventure of the day comedic ones quite nicely. So at one point you're enjoying all the great characters and the adventures they have throughout the series, but it gets tenser when it brings up more serious episodes, and you never know when they show up. They always start normally and later on it gets more serious. The final episode is quite fun and action-packed and ends with showing all the characters we met throughout the series. Pretty cool. Traffic at the Beach, or episode 52. And the first thing you notice is that it has a new modern animation style to show off. I really enjoy the intro of the specials and traffic control at the beach. It looks and sounds so cool. On a hot summer day, the duo has to control a traffic jam near the beach, with temperatures between 36 and 40 degrees in humid Japan. That can't be nice. You think that this is your typical beach episode, and while it does have all the things you expect, perverts, swimsuits, jet skis, watermelons, but the setup and all the events that lead up to those things is completely unexpected. Also, the ending was quite nice and funny. Good special. Now for the mini specials, there are 28-minute episodes, and the animation style is switching around quite a few times. Sometimes it's the same as a TV series, and at other times it's a new style, all thrown in a random order. Anyhow, the specials are surprisingly good. I mean, they are 8-minute short comedic clips, but they were funny, and it was quite entertaining. At some points it even shows off some action. It also looks like the first few chapters of the manga are like the mini specials. That's probably why they're so good then. If you enjoyed the first season or the manga, you will enjoy these episodes. They're like the rest of the anime, but just the funny and short bits. Though the two seem to magnet a lot of perverted idiots in the special episodes. Seriously, Traffic at the Beach had perverts, and the first 8 episodes or something of the mini specials is filled with them being chased by perverts. Again, it was funny, especially when Natsumi beats them halfway to death. Though it is kind of dumb they give 2 panty thief shorts that are extremely similar to each other. I mean, come on. But there were quite some good shorts. Like one of my favorite ones is where a pizza delivery guy shows up while everyone is drunk. Also, there's unexpected nudity in the specials. Not going to say when, Guess that's a surprise for when you watch it. And in the last episode of the specials, Natsumi says that they should be in their own movie. This episode came out one day before the movie premiered. Damn. Now we are at the motion picture. And as you can see, the animation got an upgrade and has that nice old anime film look. The animation style and quality looks pretty close to the original OVA. It's nice to see all the character designs on the big screen. The plot is about a super smart terrorist that has the plans and blueprint of how all their emergency services respond in Japan. And he manages to mess with the cops a bit. However, the guy behind this has some connections with the police chief. The chief is arrested and the cops find out that there is a plan that can cripple the entire economy of the world, and it's up to our trustworthy cop duo to figure all of this shit out. I really enjoyed watching this film. The visuals are nice, the story is fun and engaging, nice action scenes in high quality, and with good camera angles, and we get to see a lot of our favourite characters on the big screen. It also has a good ending song. The second season is where the big animation shift happens. Now everything is digitally coloured in instead of using hand-drawn cell animation. Also, one odd detail that they changed is that Natsumi's eyes are now green and Miyuki's eyes are now red. Why? The opening is quite good in this season, just like the other seasons. Also, we get to see all the awesome characters from the previous season. In fact, those preschool kids and Saori are now grown up, and some cool new characters, like Honda, a mechanic, and his daughter, Megumi. In this season, the first half is completely filled with Adventure of the Day-like episodes, and the last half of the season is filled with the more serious drama episodes with the relationships of all the characters. Though early on we do get some character development, with Takairen competing with Natsumi. And those episodes are quite sweet. Seriously, Takairen is a really good character, especially after this season. And hell, even Nakajima is getting some luck with his romance with Miyuki. Overall, this was a really good season, though the final episode was weird. It was an onsen episode. The second last episode functioned a lot better as a final episode. The second last episode is where all of the loose ends get tied, and we get to see all the secondary characters too in their own unique way. The last episode was just a goofy onsen episode. Enjoyed the continuation from season 1, but it would have been nice if they managed to sprinkle the more serious episodes along with the Adventure of the Day ones, rather than having 2 arcs of it. But I still think it was quite enjoyable. We get to see all the characters again, and there is more focus on the drama and romance of the characters. A really good season. A special of season 2 set in Los Angeles, and it has the lowest rating in the series. But the intro is pretty promising. You see a really good OP, and starts with the duo chasing after a criminal that's pretty well animated. But sadly, after that the weirdness started to kick in. For one, Natsumi shoots them with a shotgun instead of their usual paintball gun, and then when that guy gets interrogated at the station, we see Chief as Magnum PI threatening the guy with a gun and saying he does not have any rights. And then Saori, or Sally, joins in. What the fuck? Yeah, I noticed when I was reading the reviews of this that some people got offended by the way they depict the US. And yeah, it is pretty weird. It's like they based the US entirely on Hollywood action films. Interesting concept, but not really a good spin-off. Also, it's pretty dumb that they bluntly state that American Nakajima looks like his Japanese equivalent. It's weird. At least we got the Chief looking kind of like Magnum PI. Seriously, this could have been an hilarious and exciting special parodying the American buddy cop genre, what the anime is based on, but it just comes off as ignorant and kind of boring. And all the jokes suck. Seriously, it wasn't funny at all. After the intro, the action is pretty lacking and the ending feels lazy. The only entertaining thing was their crazy enthusiasm for guns. I'm guessing that's the only reason why they made this spin-off. I know that specials usually suck, but to be honest, Traffic at the Beach and the mini specials of Season 1 were actually decent. But this was just disappointing. Now finally, we have the third season, Full Throttle. This is the final season of You're Under Arrest, and the animation looks fine, I guess. Not really much to say about the animation, to be honest. Natsumi and Miyuki were both in training away from the station, Miyuki being in America trained for forensics, and Natsumi training in the Japanese army. Everything is pretty solid in this season. We get to see some of the comedic secondary characters like Strike Man and Moped Mama. The writing is nice, and it tries to sprinkle some of the more serious character development episodes with the comedic ones, kind of again like in Season 1. And again, it has a good opening. Though there is a lot of volleyball in the intro, well, there is no beach volleyball in this season. But there is one big issue with this season. Takairan is gone. And no, he is not just off-screen absent. He completely disappeared from everyone's mind. Really weird. I don't want to spoil anything, but he develops into an important character for the series and they just ditched him without any explanation. Saori and Nakajima's dad are also absent for most of the time, but they do show up once in the season. Also, just the background of some of the characters and their relationships is inconsistent with what happened in previous seasons. And again, like last season, the second last episode was the actual final episode. The last episode being just Yoriko and Aoi being their own duo. Fun episode, but just not really great for the final episode. The special does fix this somewhat by having a new duo show up and the current duo training them on how to become cops. It also recaps what happened during the season. A vague ending though, as usual. Yeah, this season was quite good too. The only real issue in the season is again what they did to some of the characters. Because seriously, that just sucks. Even though it was a solid season, it really could have been a lot better if they kept Takairan and showed more of the secondary characters we got to meet in the previous two seasons. As you can tell, I really enjoyed this entire series. I was marathoning it until the very end. After watching the OVA, I was just blown away and got completely invested into the series. Seriously, there is so much character development and enjoyment that's happened while I was watching all of this. Definitely recommend you watching this. If you like two strong female main characters, character development, comedy, and Japanese motorsports, or all of the above, you will most likely enjoy this anime. Or at least try watching the OVA and see if you're still interested after that, though remember more characters get introduced later on and get developed on. Also, I started reading the first few chapters of the manga, and I think it's pretty funny. There's also more nudity and it is cruder than the anime series, though sadly from what I've noticed, only the first 2 volumes are translated. Now, there is more content to this video, but that's just for the people that don't mind spoilers or have already seen everything before. For those people, stick around. It's kind of what some teachers do, that they let most of the class leave because it's irrelevant for most people. So go away, go treat yourself, but think about what I've said about this anime, because it's really good and it's a shame not so many people are talking about it anymore. And if you do check it out and finish it, come back to this video and watch the spoiler bit after this. And comment down below if I convinced you into watching this series. I'm interested. So, I hope for the people that are leaving that you enjoyed this video. Be sure to dominate the sub button. And I'll see you guys next time with whatever I make. Keep watching hentai. Okay, so now that everyone that doesn't want to get spoiled left, we can dig into the juicy spoilers. I'm pretty much going to talk about certain episodes throughout the series that I particularly enjoyed or had issues with. The first episode I really enjoyed was the episode about the old racer mechanic. At first, Natsumi brings her totaled motorbike into a mechanic nearby to get it fixed, but after Miyuki realizes it and Nakajima told Natsumi that she doesn't like that idea, they decided to visit the guy again, thinking he's just some cheap tinkery mechanic. But then Miyuki realizes that all of the parts he has are for racer bikes. And then it turns out that he was a retired motorcycle mechanic. In fact, the accident where he got the trauma from was when Nakajima's dad crashed and lost his sight in one of his eyes. And the mechanic didn't get crippled because of the accident, but he got drunk and depressed and got severely injured in a bar fight. Pretty sad. But not only is the story really good and engaging, but the visuals and music while they are racing was quite beautiful. Seriously, at this point I knew that this entire franchise was going to be awesome, and it sure was. Directly after that episode is one of the weirdest, but also one of the most hilarious episodes. It's about the cops doing a traffic safety play in front of small children, but the children think they suck. But then suddenly some bad guys show up and they take the children hostage during their play. At first, the cops think they are real weirdos trying to do harm, but it turns out that they are a vigilante group that are dressed and act like villains for children to make bad educational plays more interesting, so kids will learn about important messages. It's so dumb, but also kind of wholesome. The next episode I thought was really good in the first season was when the police chief is stuck in the observation deck on Tokyo Tower with extreme winds. He is stuck there with a kid he met on the tower. They're there because some stupid purse robber wanted to run around on the observation deck. But after the chief saves him from getting crushed horribly, he ends up getting stuck up there with a kid. The wind breaks the door shut and the chief breaks his ankle, but still tries to stay strong with the kid. He even gives some life advice.
How come you're so calm? Aren't you scared?
A calm mind and a cool head can overcome anything, Yosuke.
Huh?
He also gives some fun facts about Tokyo Tower.
Did you know that this tower is made entirely of tanks? After the war, there were lots of tanks that were no longer needed. They took those tanks apart and constructed this steel frame.
Meanwhile, the Bokito police station is trying to save them, and we even meet Takairen for the first time, and learn that he is as strong as Natsumi. It's also the first episode that has 2 parts, which always means it's nice and exciting. Now that I think about it, pretty much all the episodes with Takairen and Natsumi are really good episodes. The episode in season 1 where Takairen leaves to become a soldier of the mountains has a lot of development in their relationship. They even get drunk and give beer to other couples passing by. Now for season 2 episodes. One episode I really liked were the ones that explored Natsumi's and Takairen's relationship, because unlike with Nakajima, their relationship progresses a lot more quickly. Hell, Takairen's descriptions of Natsumi are actually quite nice. Like in one episode he compares her to one of his favorite mountains he likes to climb. Or in the episode where they have to chase a monkey running around the city, Takairen befriends the monkey and calls her Natsumi because she reminds him of her.
お前は単純だな。すぐ興奮したり食べ物に釣られたり。似てんな。
But they had to do it. They had to remove Takairen in season 3. I really hate that, because all of this progression in their relationship pretty much gets dumped entirely, even though it has some of the best moments in the series. Really, why Takairen? What the hell did he do? Another episode I like kind of rolls back to this. Pretty much the episode is about the chief wanting to tell Natsumi something important and invites her to dinner. And of course everyone thinks it's because the chief wants to date Natsumi, and because Natsumi always had a thing for him, she has to make the choice between Takairen and the chief. Or as she puts it, steak or cake. She chose Takairen in the end. even though the chief only wanted to tell her about being invited for special forces training and might have to leave the station again. But in the 3rd season, she only likes the chief, so this great episode got thrown in the bin too. Also, that mechanic Honda is gone. Like, they do show comedic characters like Moped Mama and Strike Man, but don't show Honda and Takairin? Why? One episode I really enjoyed in season 3 was the episode where some little girl keeps following the chief because he looks like her deceased dad that she can't accept is dead. Kind of sad, but also a fun and exciting episode, with some sweet moments. Now there are also some episodes I have issues with, like for example the last episode of season 2. It's just an onsen episode. Again, the episode before is an actual final episode, and at least it does end with Nakajima proposing to Miyuki, but he drops his ring and she says something to Nakajima that makes him super happy. But guess what? The next season completely forgets this, so their relationship gets reset. Really? God, that feels tedious. There are very few episodes in this season that really progresses their relationship. In one episode you think it would, but then it fools you in the end. The episode is where Nakajima gets inspired by a K-drama series to write a love letter to Miyuki. Only problem is that he never ends up giving it to her. It keeps dragging out, and when he does try to give it to her, she simply doesn't hear it. It drops all over the place, and it even survives a fire. But it just ends with some random dog taking his love letter and running away with it. That episode really felt like a waste of time, to be honest. Also, the second last episode of season 3 has Nakajima again proposing to Miyuki. This time her answer is a bit clearer, but still, what happened to that first proposal? Speaking of the final episode of season 3, it's about Aoi and Yoriko becoming their own duo and trying to fight crime in their own way. Not a bad episode necessarily, but just a bad final episode. Again, luckily the special episode after this does sort of fix it by giving the season a proper ending. But still, why does a special have to fix that? But, as you can see, I really enjoyed this anime and have quite a few episodes I really enjoyed. And overall, a really fun experience to watch all of these episodes of this really fun series. But what do you think? Did you know about this series before? What did you think of it? Did I convince you to watch this series? Don't forget to comment your answers down below. So, I hope you guys liked this video. Be sure to dominate the sub button. And I'll see you guys next time with whatever I make. Keep watching hentai.